Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. Bold and beautiful preview. Ridge offers Brooke a golden opportunity, and Leigh crashes her sister's big moment. In the latest, the bold and the beautiful preview for June 3 to 7, as Maury might say, the DNA tests are in, and you Bill are. Read on and watch the preview below. After Bill and Poppy reconnected after 20 years apart, Bill had to ask if Luna could be his daughter. Poppy admitted it was possible and they decided to tell Luna and run a DNA test. Poppy then picked up one at the handy-dandy local convenience store. Coming up, Luna tells Bill, with her mother also there, "Okay, let's do it." As it appears they're about to do the test, Leigh bursts in and says, "Hold it right there. What's Leigh's issue now?" In a move that can only be explained as Steffi deciding to punish Hope because she can't seem to keep her husband Finn away from his birth mother Shyla, Steffi decided Hope for the future was struggling and it was time to shut it down. Hope and Brooke confronted Steffi, accusing her of making this decision personal. Next week, Hope tells Steffi that the level of disrespect she has continued to show her family is ridiculous. Steffi just rolls her eyes. After discussing Steffi's recent decisions with Katie, Brooke was reminded how many important contributions she made to Forrester Creations over the years. Maybe that's why Ridge asks Brooke what she says. Will she help him and Steffi lead the company forward? Something tells us that Steffi isn't going to like this idea. In the sun-soaked atrium of Forrester Creations, the hum of anticipation mingled with the soft rustle of the silk and the faint clinking of champagne flutes. It was a day of possibilities, of aspirations crystallizing into reality, where every carefully curated gown held the promise of transforming dreams into timeless elegance. For Brooke Logan, this was not just any ordinary day at the iconic fashion house. It was a moment poised on the brink of a bold new chapter. Dressed in a sleek, midnight blue gown that accentuated her every graceful movement, Brooke stood amidst the shimmering swirl of fabric and creativity. Her hazel eyes, framed by long lashes and a hint of shimmering eyeshadow, scanned the bustling room with a mix of pride and nerves. Today was the unveiling of the latest Forrester collection, an event that not only showcased the artistry of the famed design house, but also marked a personal milestone for Brooke. As the co-CEO of Forrester Creations, Brooke had weathered storms, both personal and professional. She had triumphed over adversaries and setbacks, earning her place at the helm of a legacy built on passion and innovation. Yet amid the glitz and glamour, her mind wandered to the tumultuous journey that had led her here, a journey intertwined with love, heartbreak, and a tapestry of relationships that defined her in ways she was still discovering. Across the room, Ridge Forrester, her longtime love and confidant, watched her with a mixture of admiration and concern. His presence was as commanding as ever, clad in a tailored suit that echoed his stature in the fashion world. Ridge knew Brooke's strengths and vulnerabilities better than anyone, his heart torn between the desire to protect her and the need to let her shine in her own right. Their relationship had weathered countless storms, betrayals, separations, and the siren call of other loves, but through it all, there was an undeniable bond that tethered them together. Today, however, Ridge had something more than moral support to offer, something that could change the course of not just the fashion world, but their intertwined destinies. As the last of the models made their way down the runway, showcasing designs that epitomized elegance and innovation, Ridge approached Brooke with a glint of determination in his steely blue eyes. He gently took her hand, his touch reassuring yet charged with an unspoken urgency. "Brooke," Ridge began, his voice a low murmur that only she could hear over the din of applause. "I have something I need to discuss with you." Brooke turned to face him, her heart quickening at the intensity in his gaze. She knew that look, all too familiar and yet somehow different today, tinged with a hint of anticipation. "Ridge, what is it?" she asked, her voice betraying a mixture of curiosity and caution. Ridge took a deep breath, his mind racing with the weight of what he was about to propose. "I've been thinking a lot about our future," he admitted, his words measured yet sincere. "And I believe it's time for a change. For both of us." Brooke's brow furrowed slightly, uncertainty flickering in her eyes. "What do you mean, Ridge?" Ridge took her hands in his touch warm and steady. "Brooke, you know how much Forrester Creations means to both of us. And I can't imagine running it with anyone else but you," he confessed, his voice unwavering with conviction. "That's why I want you to consider this." He paused, the moment stretching between them as he searched for the right words. "I want you to take over as sole CEO of Forrester Creations," Ridge finally said, his voice resonant with sincerity. Brooke blinked, her mind reeling at his unexpected proposal. She had never dared to imagine such a scenario where she would stand alone at the helm of a legacy that had been their shared dream for so long. "Ridge, Before she could find the words to respond, a commotion at the entrance of the atrium drew their attention. In a flurry of motion, Lee Finnegan, Brooke's sister, stormed into the room, her expression a mix of determination and disbelief. "Brooke," Lee called out, her voice cutting through the lingering echoes of applause. "We need to talk. Now." The room fell silent, all eyes turning to the unexpected intruder who had disrupted the euphoria of the fashion show. Lee, always the firebrand in contrast to Brooke's poised elegance, crossed the room in quick strides until she stood before her sister and Ridge, her chest heaving with emotion. "Lee, what's wrong?" Brooke asked, her voice tinged with concern as she took in her sister's disheveled appearance and the urgency in her eyes. Lee glanced at Ridge briefly, her gaze softening just a fraction before returning to Brooke. "It's about Dad," she began, her voice quivering with unshed tears. He's not well, Brooke. You need to come with me." As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting hues of orange and pink across the Californian sky, the bustling city of Los Angeles seemed to slow down for just a moment, as if taking a collective breath before plunging into the night. But in the opulent world of the Forrester family, the pace never truly slowed. It merely shifted like a dance from one rhythm to another. At the iconic Forrester Creations headquarters, where fashion dreams were spun into reality, anticipation crackled in the air like electricity. Inside, the elegant showroom buzzed with activity. Models, clad in the latest designs, flitted about like ethereal creatures, their laughter mingling with the soft strains of music drifting from hidden speakers. Among them moved Ridge Forrester, the suave and charismatic scion of the fashion dynasty, his piercing blue eyes alight with determination. "Tonight's the night, isn't it?" Brooke Logan, Ridge's longtime love and confidant, approached him with a radiant smile, her blonde locks cascading in gentle waves around her shoulders. There was an undeniable chemistry between them, a connection that had weathered countless storms and emerged stronger each time. Ridge nodded, his gaze never leaving her face. "It's going to be a game-changer, Brooke. The whole world will be talking about this collection." Brooke's eyes sparkled with excitement. "I can hardly wait to see it." As if on cue, a hush fell over the room, signaling the imminent start of the much-anticipated fashion show. The lights dimmed and the crowd collectively held its breath as the first model glided onto the runway, a vision of elegance and grace. But amidst the glamour and spectacle, tensions simmered just beneath the surface. For behind the scenes, a different kind of drama was unfolding. In a secluded corner of the showroom, two figures stood locked in a heated conversation. Lee Finnegan, the fiercely ambitious younger sister of fashion maven Steffi Forrester, squared off against her sibling's formidable husband, Thomas Forrester, his dark eyes ablaze with determination. "You can't keep doing this, Thomas," Lane insisted, her voice tinged with frustration. "Steffi deserves to know the truth." Thomas shook his head, his jaw set in a stubborn line. "Not now, Lee. This is not the time." But Lee refused to back down. "How long do you plan on hiding behind this facade, Thomas? You're only hurting yourself, and everyone else in the process." Before Thomas could respond, a sudden commotion drew their attention. Across the room, Brooke stood frozen in shock as Ridge approached her, a glint of mischief in his eyes. "Care to dance, Mrs. Forrester?" he quipped, extending his hand with a playful smile. Brooke's heart raced as she took his hand, allowing him to lead her onto the makeshift dance floor. Around them, the world seemed to fade away, leaving only the two of them locked in a timeless embrace. But just as the moment reached its crescendo, a voice shattered the illusion. Brooke. The name echoed through the showroom like a thunderclap, drawing the attention of everyone present. All eyes turned to the source of the disturbance, where Lee stood, her expression a mask of fury. "I'm sorry to interrupt your little tryst, Brooke," Lee spat, her voice dripping with venom. "But there's something you need to see." With a dramatic flourish, Lee produced a folder from her bag and thrust it into Brooke's hands. As Brooke opened it, her eyes widened in disbelief, her breath catching in her throat. "What is this?" she whispered, her voice barely audible above the din of the crowd. "It's the truth, Brooke," Lee declared, her voice ringing out clear and strong. "The truth about Ridge, and what he's been hiding from you all along." As Brooke pored over the contents of the folder, her world seemed to tilt on its axis. Each revelation was like a dagger to the heart, tearing apart everything she thought she knew. And as the full weight of the truth crashed down upon her, Brooke realized that nothing would ever be the same again.